Over the past year and a half in America, the COVID pandemic has resulted in over 500,000 deaths and plunged our economy into recession. The economic fallout has been responsible for food insecurity and hunger rates that have doubled across the country. In Oregon, 1 in 4 people are facing food insecurity and hunger. And for Oregonians of color, the food insecurity rate is more than twice as high as for white communities. For the Ecumenical Ministries of Oregon's Food Pantry program in the Cully neighborhood of Portland, this need has meant an unprecedented ramp-up in food deliveries. And the Northeast Emergency Food Pantry is counting on us to help more than ever.
Hello, my name is Deborah Resley, and I'm a proud member of the First Presbyterian Church here in Portland. And one of our favorite missions is the Northeast Food Pantry program that is run out of the Cully neighborhood in Portland. And I happen to have with me Miss A'Jay Scipio, who is the general manager for our program. I'd like to introduce you. A'Jay, hello.
Hello, how are you today?
I'm doing great.
Awesome.
A'Jay, would you briefly tell us how you got involved in this program?
We're the largest serving emergency food program in the state of Oregon right now. We can't afford not to be functioning. We're serving hundreds of thousands of people. So we need to make sure that we're functioning. What does that mean? That means our staff has grown from 2 paid full-time people now to 4 full-time paid staff, 4 part-time paid staff, and that is the equivalent then of 8 staff and over 300 volunteers is what it takes to feed 640,000 people in a year. So the ratio still is that it takes 8 staff and 300 volunteers to feed 600,000 people. So it still is an incredible job that it takes way more volunteers. So
and you've been here since 2018?
I've been here since 2018.
And I've been volunteering here since 2018, just before you came.
Yep.
The way First Pres found out about you guys was we had a discipleship study, and at the end of the study, everyone said, we need to be doing more for the poor, and we need to be doing more of an outreach. And came across this program because we're highly connected with the Ecumenical Ministries of Oregon, and we've never looked back. We have several handfuls of volunteers that come every week to the food pantry to help out. How important is this project to Oregon, to the neighborhood?
This program is probably more critical than anything that I've ever done. It's more than just about handing out food, because this is about community. People come here not just to get something to eat, but people see this as a place to belong. People don't just come here for emergency rations or services, but people find a place to belong. Not just clients that need food for their families, but many of the volunteers that come here talk about having a sense of belonging, a sense of family when they come here. So it's not just about what we give, but it's about what people receive. Right. And how they are impacted when they are here. Before the pandemic came, our clients, where we are now sitting on this side of that tape, this was the clothing room. So people could also get clothing, they could get small household appliances, they could get things that they needed outside of food. On that side, that was the waiting room. There were things that people could get for their children. They could get books, they could get reading materials. So this was like a gathering place. They got coffee, they were served with snacks and things like that. We had cooking demonstrations. So it was a place that people could gather and just feel like somebody cared about them. And so it was a shopping style pantry. People got to choose, and they were served with dignity and respect in a way that is different from most pantries. And so even now that we're serving at such high numbers that we can't offer a lot of those same services in the same way, our goal still is that even though we have to pre-package and pre-box things and do it in a drive-through fashion and limited walk-up, our goal still is to treat our clients with dignity, treat our clients with respect, and make sure that our volunteers still have an experience that makes them feel like they matter.
Right, I really like the fact that now that I'm packing up the boxes, that someone has donated Marvel comics to the pantry, so I can put a Marvel comic book in my bag for the kiddos to find, and as a nice surprise.
Those are courtesy of Excalibur Comics. Debbie Smith is the owner. Justin Zimmerman is the hands behind the sorting and delivery of those comics. He does not stop. And so he and Debbie are the true rock stars and Rick behind that. And so I want to make sure to shout out to them, because without them, that particular outreach would not be happening. And that was happening before I got here, and we make sure that it continues. They call and make sure they check to see the inventory, make sure that we don't run out. So Excalibur Comics on Hawthorne, check them out. They are amazing.
And each comic book is in its own little bag, so
yes,
there's
it is. So it doesn't get damaged. That's right. That's right. So
yeah,
awesome folks.
But there's been a couple of differences over the years, just because of the main volume, right, of the people that you're touching every day, and also the fact that we have a deadly pandemic going on. So maybe you could talk a little bit about how volunteers' positions, have they changed at all in the pandemic?
They have. Where we used to have volunteers do shopping, we used to have more volunteers helping to pick up donations from different places around the community and do more sorting and stocking of shelves for clients to shop. We don't have that anymore. Now we have production lines and, people to pack boxes. A lot more lifting is involved than we used to have. We have a lot more, now we have volunteers that have to, pack cars now. We have an entire traffic management team now that are being certified as flaggers. That is an OSHA certification now that is, gives people an option that when the pandemic and this part of it is over, they still have now a skill and a trade that they can use out in the workforce to earn a living.
That's awesome.
Beyond this. We have volunteers now that are learning additional skills in inventory management. I mean, where clothes used to be, now we have pallets of food that we have to have first in, first out, and that is so much more important now because of the volume of food. 37 million pounds of food last year. It takes volunteers to unload 20,000 pounds, 30,000 pounds of deliveries 4 days a week.
Right.
So those are some of the volunteer responsibilities. You know, there's cleaning, there's organizing every single day. And we now have 2 shifts. So it's not just during the day from 8 o'clock in the morning until 4 o'clock, but we have a 5 o'clock in the evening until 10 o'clock at night. That's not quite as physically demanding. So for people who can't do all the lifting and can't do as much of the fast paced and still want to be able to be involved, but want a little bit slower pace and can't do quite as much, that shift may be more appealing.
Maybe even after work.
After work,
Yeah.
or on Saturday, because
Yeah.
Saturday is part of the evening shift.
Yeah.
And then we're opening up some opportunities for things that people can do at home. So be on the lookout for those opportunities to come out. And sign up is required now, because we need to know, with all of the social distancing requirements, we need to keep track of how many people are on site and on campus and all of these things. But it also helps us to be able to notify people when things are happening. We doing this and keeping track of all of these changes allowed us to get all the way through 2020 with 0 positive COVID cases.
It's absolutely amazing when people come to volunteer for the first time to this pantry to see how much gets done out of the square footage that you've got. It's simply the most efficient operation I've seen. And yet it's fun. You know, we have fun, we work hard, and we have fun. And I wanted to ask you, we have people who are more homebound than others, and what sorts of things could they do? I mean, could they volunteer by sending money to the NEFP? Where would they send it?
People who want to make financial contributions are more than welcome to send it to NEFP. They could make checks out to NEFP. If they have a specific thing or initiative that they want to attach it to, they can put that in the memo line, or they can send it directly to EMO. If they send it to EMO, they can put EMO, make it out to EMO, and then put NEFP on the memo line so that EMO knows that it goes to our program. So either of those options are available. If they choose to give online, they can go right to our website, which is, they can go Northeast Emergency Food Program, just put it in the search bar. They can go to our Facebook page and then look up Give, just click on Give, and it'll give you step-by-step directions for how to do that.
Awesome. What about other jobs that they could do? Are there anything
There
else?
are lots of things. We are getting, for example, donations from organizations that come in bulk. For example, we get a lot of sample items from Providence Dermatology, for example, that we will be getting that would need to be sorted out. So we could get those things in, give you guys a call, send that out, and they could be broken down so that they go into smaller bags that we can provide, and those can come back and then go into the boxes.
That's great.
Because that's the kind of thing that obviously we don't have the space here to get those sorted so that they can go into the boxes. So we oftentimes aren't able to get those items ready to get out to our main clients. A lot of times we have hygiene items that come in, but they come in pallets. They come in big boxes. So if we could get those to people or to other, like people that live in retirement communities, that they may not be able to get to us, but we can get it out to them. If they're willing to give us the opportunity to deliver those items, because through the generosity and donations of other people, NEFP has been blessed with vehicles. We have new vehicles that we can now transport our donations in. People can do that at home. and we can make sure that there is a sterile and sanitized process to make sure that those things can get out to be sorted and then brought back and put in those boxes, because those items are just as important to our clients as the food items are. So
Yes,
we've been
good
donated
idea.
masks, we've been donated sanitizer, toilet paper, all kinds of things like that, but they come in bulk. We don't always have the people on hand to sort through that, because we've got all of these other things that the
Understand.
priority list just keeps getting bigger and bigger, and we just have to make sure that those things are done.
When I came in 2018, we had, I don't know how many clients, quite a number, but now that clientele has just grown. Can you tell us just roughly how many clients you served out of this?
So
program?
from 2018, 2019, we were serving 38,000 to 42,000 a year. In 2020, we served 643,000 people.
You made the MSNBC on TV.
Yes.
They wanted to know how all of that could come out of here.
Out of the basement of a church, and then there was this silence. Yeah. They were not sure they had the right address when they arrived at 6 o'clock in the morning. They were not.
This is just
They didn't
one
believe
of those.
they had the right address.
Yeah, this has been a blessing for my husband and I to work with, and meeting you and the people that work here has been just a wonderful experience. And I'm hoping that more and more people will learn about it and come to volunteer. And we will provide the link to all the information that we talked about, and also to the website to be able to sign up and everything. So I just want to say thank you, A'Jay Scipio, from the bottom of my heart, for the way you have revolutionized this area and contributed and touched so many people's lives. It's just a combination of love and perseverance that describes this place. And I'm so glad that you volunteered to give us your time today and your thoughts. Thank you. Thank you for that.
Thank you, First Presbyterian. Without you guys, we wouldn't be able to pivot. We wouldn't be able to pivot without First Pres. We would not be in this space, opened up and ready to continue serving in this capacity. And we look forward to what the future holds and how we will continue to partner and work together. Thank you.
Thank you.
In Matthew 25, Jesus says to the righteous, "Come, you who are blessed by my Father, take your inheritance. For I was hungry, and you gave me something to eat. I was thirsty, and you gave me something to drink." Then the righteous will answer him, "Lord, when did we see you hungry and feed you? Or thirsty and give you something to drink? When did we see you a stranger and invite you in? Or needing clothes and clothe you? When did we see you sick or in prison and go to visit you?" And Jesus replied, "Truly, I tell you, whatever you did for one of the least of these brothers and sisters of mine, you did for me."